first grade friends, this is Miss Blanchette. Today I'm going to read you The Joy of a Ship from your Reading Writing Workshop book. That's the book on the lesson plan that you should read today. You can go ahead and use this time to read along with me. So you can grab your book and follow along with your finger, or you can follow along to my finger as I read aloud to you. I just want to remind you first that our essential question is, how do things get built? And we're specifically going to be talking about what do you think? A boat, a ship, how a ship gets built. After we read this, we're going to organize the steps of what it takes to make a boat into the correct order in a flow map. So make sure you're following along to the steps. And the other thing I want you to do, so number 1, you're going to follow along. And number 2, you're going to make sure that you are paying attention to the steps it takes to make a ship. And number 3, you're going to be keeping an eye out for words that start or that have the oi sound in it. Because this week we're talking about oi, O-I, and O-Y. So, once you hear the oi sound, you're going to make a noise that an animal does. And we say the animal makes an oink sound. What animal makes the oink sound? A pig. So you're going to oink like a pig when you hear a word that has the oi sound. So I'll go ahead and read the title for you, and you can practice. The Joy of a Ship. All right, let's go. Ships take people and things all over the world. How does a ship get made? Find out here. What is needed to build a ship? Making ships employs many workers. This task uses lots of tools and parts as well. Let's see how a ship is made step by step. Let's read the captions too. It says, these people study the plans for the ship. There are many things to do. And look, they have their safety equipment on. This looks like a dangerous place, so it's good they have their safety helmets and goggles on. Frame it. This is this heading for this section of the story, so I'm sure it's going to be something about framing. First, workers build a frame. The ship frame can balance on blocks up above a dock. Huge cranes hoist the big parts in place so they do not fall. Workers must avoid being bumped by these big pieces of steel. So friends, what's the first step it takes in building a ship? Let's reread. First, workers build a frame. Remember that. Hold on to that. Let's read the caption. Some huge gantry cranes can lift 1,500 tons as high as 230 feet in the air. That's a lot of weight, and that's really high. Sheets of steel. First, 2 kinds of metals are melted into steel. I'm going to use a stretchy snake for this. I know O-I makes the oi sound. Boils. It boils. Hot steel flows into flat metal sheets and molds. When steel gets cold, it gets hard. The steel sheets are then ready for making a ship. Wow. Let's read the caption. Stand back. The steel is very hot. It looks very hot too. Look at it all spilling over. You wouldn't want to be close to that. A worker joins each steel section by heating the edges called joints. Most workers put on gloves and a helmet to protect their hands and head. Gotta be safe. Check it, paint it. Make a prediction right now. What do you think this little section is going to be about if the heading says check it, paint it? Maybe about checking something and painting something. And we're talking about ships, so maybe they're going to check the ship and paint the ship. Let's see if we're correct. Workers check all the joints. Then they point out leaks and fix them. If a joint leaks, the inside of this ship will be moist with water. It might even sink. Oh my goodness, so do you think this is an important step? Yeah, I wouldn't want to get on a ship that hadn't been checked for leaks. If there's a leak, it might sink. Then the ship is painted. So what happens after it's checked? Oh, that's right. And we can tell in the heading too. It gets painted. And this job is done. It gleams in the sun. The workers knew it would look nice. People will pay a lot of money to ride on this ship. Out to sea. The people on the dock point with joy as the new ship begins the first trip. Those on the ship wave as it glides toward the open sea. See them waving? Look at, they have fireworks too. Ooh, did you know? Did you know there are many kinds of ships on the sea? Let's look at the different examples and read the captions to see what they are. This is an, I'm going to use Chunky Monkey to help me. I know that word is aft. Aircraft carrier. Look, that means it carries aircrafts or planes and helicopters. This is a cargo ship. It carries cargo or goods, materials. This is an icebreaker ship. What do you think an icebreaker ship does? It breaks the ice. So now, friends, we are going to figure out what the steps are in, we're going to pause on that question, but we're going to figure out the order of steps it takes to build the ship. So right now, I'm just going to go back to the beginning of the page, and you can use your book as a reference if you have it with you, but now I'm going to show you over here. I have a little area set up to make a flow map, and there are different steps in making the ship right here, and we're going to spread them out and sort them in order. So I will read them to you first, and as I'm reading them to you, I want you to be thinking, which is the first step? So this one says, each steel section is joined to make joints. Workers build a frame and huge cranes hoist it up. People are able to board the ship. You can't do that if you don't have a ship. That can't be the first step. The ship is painted. 2 kinds of metal are melted into steel, and then it is hardened into steel sheets. And workers check the joints and look out for any leaks they need to fix. What do you think is the first step? If you said this one, workers build a frame and huge cranes hoist it, you are correct. If you remember here in our book, the first page, the first step said frame it. They put the frame with those strong cranes that carry heavy equipment. What about the next step? After the frame, do workers check the joints? Are the steel sections joined? Are two metals melted? Do people board the ship, or is it painted? I'll give you a hint. People don't board the ship, and it's not painted if you don't have a ship yet. After that, they melt two kinds of metal into steel, and then it's hardened to make the steel sheets. What comes after that? Let's check in our book. So after the frame, the two kinds of metal are melted into steel sheets, and then a worker joins each steel section by heating the edges, called joints. So it should be this one. So this is our first step, second, third, and then we go down and across because we read from left to right. So that's how our flow map goes in order. What is next? Before it gets painted and before people board it, the workers check the joints and look out for any leaks. Remember, that's a very important step. You don't want to get on a ship if it hasn't been checked. And then the last step is going to be people getting on the ship. So it gets painted next, and then people get to go on the ship. And our frame of reference would be from the story, The Joy of a Ship. Right, friends? Well, thank you for following along with me. I have one last question for you. Now that we have them in order from first to last, which of these steps in making a ship is risky or dangerous? I'll let you think about that for a second. Do you think it's dangerous to be around a crane that's carrying something that's 1,500 tons? Yes, you always have to be on the lookout. So building the frame and having the crane hoisted, that is very risky and dangerous. And of course, this next step is too, because we saw all of the extra metal being melted, all of that extra stuff was being burned out. And obviously the next step is dangerous because remember, the workers have to wear gloves and helmets to protect themselves when they're joining the joints. And the rest is mostly safe. If there is a joint that is not attached when the workers are checking and it accidentally falls and hits someone, then it could be risky, but mainly the first three are the risky and dangerous parts of the job. So thanks for following along with me, friends. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.